So we have another positive development on the corruption issue and the various avenues by which people are going after Donald Trump for being massively corrupt. Here's what Fortune says. Trump's narrow definition of emoluments rejected by judge. President Donald Trump's narrow definition of an emolument failed to win him an escape from a lawsuit by almost 200 congressional Democrats who claim the president is violating the Constitution by doing business with foreign governments. U.S. District Judge Emmett Sullivan on Tuesday denied a Justice Department request to dismiss the lawsuit filed in 2017 by Connecticut Senator Richard Blumenthal and other members of the House and Senate who claim Trump is violating the Foreign Emoluments Clause of the Constitution. The judge's ruling would allow the Democrats to start seeking financial records from the Trump Organization in a pretrial exchange of information. The Justice Department can try to block that by appealing the ruling. Trump is already fighting congressional subpoenas for his tax information in court and has vowed to fight, quote, all subpoenas. Sullivan, in September, ruled the Democrats have legal standing to pursue their claim and held off deciding on the merits. Tuesday's 48-page decision gives a detailed explanation for ruling against the president and siding with the Democrats in a fight they say is crucial for battling corruption. Trump and the Democrats have clashed over what the once little-known word emoluments meant at the time the Founding Fathers wrote the Constitution, with Democrats using a broad definition to cover profit from Trump's businesses and Trump seeking a narrow meaning. Sullivan said the Democrats had the more convincing argument. Trump's definition disregards the ordinary meaning of the term as set forth in the vast majority of founding-era dictionaries. Sullivan said in his ruling, the judge also said Trump's definition is inconsistent with the text, structure, historical interpretation, adoption, and purpose of the clause, and is contrary to executive branch practice over the course of many years. Democrats argued the word is broadly defined, quote, as any profit, gain, or advantage. The president countered that an emolument would be, for example, a payment from a foreign government for an official action or a salary from a foreign power. The clause says that certain federal officials, including the president, can accept an emolument from any king, prince, or foreign state without, quote, the consent of the Congress. The congressional Democrats are seeking an order compelling Trump to notify Congress when he's offered an emolument, giving them the opinion to vote on whether he can accept it. Blumenthal has called the Emoluments Clause the Constitution's premier anti-corruption provision. Trump said he stepped down from running his $3 billion empire but retained his ownership interests, a decision the Democrats say violates the Foreign Emoluments Clause because he's getting payments from foreign governments without congressional approval. Blumenthal called the judge's earlier September ruling a, quote, triumph for the rule of law. While the Democrats claim they're being denied the right to vote on the benefits, attorneys for the president say the matter should be resolved in Congress, not in court. Okay, so I'm actually stricter on this than the Democrats and even than the Constitution lays out. Apparently, under the Constitution, when it comes to emoluments, the Congress has the ability to vote on whether or not the president can accept it. So in other words, Saudi Arabia is staying at Trump's D.C. hotel and they're spending money there. They're doing it on purpose. It's a form of bribery. But Congress is going to get to step in and say, well, hold on now. We can vote this up or down. So in other words, if we say it's okay for you to accept money from the Saudi government, it's okay. If we say it's not okay, we're going to say it's not okay and we'll vote it down and you can't accept that money. I'm much more hardline on this. No way the president should have sprawling business interests where he can accept payment from foreign governments. I don't even want the president to have sprawling business interests where he accepts money from corporations or lobbyists. Basically, you should be forced to get rid of all ownership and all investment as president. Because of course it's going to be a conflict of interest. If fucking some Wall Street hedge fund asshole goes to one of your businesses and dumps writes a check for $500,000 for your business, what the fuck do you think that person's going to do? They're going to take that phone call from that hedge funder and say, what can I do for you? What do you need? Oh, you need me to, do a certain provision of deregulation that gets the government off your ass and allows you to take more risk? I'm all over it, bro. If somebody from the military-industrial complex dumps a $500,000 check at a president's business, what do you think is going to happen? Oh, would you look at that? Raytheon or Boeing just got another no-bid contract, and we're handing billions of dollars over to them for them to make some fucking, shitty widget. I mean, that's what happens in reality. In reality, human beings are human beings, and this is, by very nature of the way the system functions, it's corrupting. So I think this is good that it's going through court, and if I'm not mistaken, there are multiple, 2 or 3 different emoluments cases going through court. I hope all of them rule against Trump, and I also hope there are actual penalties, and it's not just like, oh, we'll vote on it as to whether or not you can accept the money. Because this is setting a terrible precedent. If you really can have a president accept money from foreign governments, then yeah, there's a good argument that they're not primarily working for us. They're working for whoever the fuck's paying them. And when you look at, like, you know, over $100 billion weapons deal going to Saudi Arabia, multi-billion dollar weapons deal going to Israel, like, a lot of that, yes, is because of the lobbying efforts of those countries. So it's deep, deep, deep corruption, but it's built into the system so people don't bat an eyelash. All the fucking idiot reporters in Washington, D.C., the establishment reporters, they're like, well, this is just how it works. I don't know. Are you kidding me? That's not just how it works. Our fucking country is crumbling, and we're giving $100 billion worth of weapons to fucking Saudi Arabia as they do a genocide in Yemen, and they just killed 37 protesters the other day? What a joke. So this needs to stop, and I think it's a way more serious scandal than Russiagate is. And I think it's good to have the focus on that, because there's a better principled argument, even if you wanted to do impeachment, which I don't think is politically wise, but even if you wanted to do that, emoluments is a much better argument than fucking maybe obstruction over collusion that didn't happen. And that's just my personal opinion on it, but I just think it's so much more of a real issue, and it gets to the core of what people hate about our politics, about how we don't think our politicians are working for us. You want to know why we think that? Because they're not working for us. And whether it's Hillary Clinton and Bill Clinton with their shitty fucking Clinton Foundation, and Bill giving speeches all over the world as Hillary's doling out fucking contracts, weapons contracts as she's Secretary of State to all these repressive governments, that's fucking corruption. It's also corruption when Trump approves these weapons deals for Saudi as he's taking money at his goddamn hotel, among the many other ways. Jared Kushner got millions of dollars from Israel, and then Trump turns around and does all these favors for Israel. So I think that that's a way more serious issue, and I'm happy that the courts to this point have ruled with Democrats.